Well, it's been a while, but a wave in the Atlantic shows signs of potential tropical development. We'll look at that in your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi friends, Rusty back at Meteo Mundo. Great to see you on a Tuesday. Hope you're doing well. Coming up in this video, we're going to be talking about some active weather across our area for today, especially in the western half of the Caribbean. We're going to be talking about your island by island rainfall forecast. And for the first time in a while, we have our yellow area of potential tropical development. I've got all the details on that wave. As we get started, I love to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments section below what's been going on in your area, how the weather has been, and we'll get started. Now, we've had some healthy showers and storms in some areas, and that started off early this morning. We'll begin this view with what's going on right now in the Bahamas. We actually had some pretty healthy storms in the central Bahamas earlier today. They were area dependent, but we had some rowdy storms, heavy rain and lightning. We're getting a few more to try and redevelop. It's a little bit quieter today up towards Walker's Key, Grand Bahama, Abaco. Look, doesn't mean we're not going to get a brief shower developing there. You can see a little bit of that, but it's a little bit more concentrated. Andros, New Providence, Eleuthera South. The storms earlier today were like skirting the New Providence south coastline. If you look to the south, you would have really seen some nasty weather. And that's all kind of moving south and also slowly fading away, but still the opportunity for more rain for Cat Island and Long Island and Exuma over towards Rum Key. And we'll see an isolated shower or storm for the Acklands back into the Turks and Caicos for the remainder of this Tuesday afternoon. Once again, our friends in Cuba just going gangbusters with these storms. It just seems like every day, of course, with the orientation of basically having water on every side, obviously being out in the open there, and then these winds coming through. We're just kicking up storms across that area. Now they're trying to drift off towards the south, but so far they've kind of been hugging the South Cuban coastline. Today, we had some storms earlier today in Jamaica. Now, this would look like it's been a fairly wet day, but really, it's been more cloudy and overcast than anything. There has been some rain with this, but there hasn't been a ton. I mean, I've been watching kind of what's been happening in the Kingston area for today, and just hasn't been a lot of rain. But if you had some of the healthier storms earlier, let me know in the comments section below. There's obviously some rich tropical moisture here in the Northwest Caribbean, and more storms will try and move back over the area. But again, just not as much as what we might think. Again, better rain chances today for the Cayman Islands, getting a few downpours near Grand Cayman. A couple more going to try and slip over Little Cayman and Cayman Brac at the hour as well. Watch out for the lightning strikes there. Once again, it's active weather for our friends in the Yucatan. Really nasty storms. We talked about this yesterday. It's going to be some pretty active weather. Cancun, Cozumel, Tulum, Merida on over towards Campeche, Chetumal, San Pedro, and Belize towards Belize City, but generally up towards Quintana Roo in general. We'll see a few more storms develop off towards the south, on over towards Dangriga, the northern coastline of Honduras, but kind of working its way inland a little bit more, trying to move over towards places like Tegucigalpa and Managua. But again, healthy, widespread storms. Nicaragua and Honduras for today. A little bit drier so far in Costa Rica and Panama, but some storms will develop in the afternoon hours. It's been a little bit quieter today for Hispaniola. It's actually been a little bit quieter the last few days as well. Today has actually been a little bit more active. I just mean that we haven't really gone gangbusters yet, but we've had a few areas of heavier storms just east of Santo Domingo towards La Romana, San Pedro de Macorís. You can see a few storms developing there, still isolated, but some heavier rainfall, a lot of lightning strikes. You can see some beefy storms, tropical moisture in play, getting a few storms on the Haitian side as well. Very spotty in nature, but there's some heavier rain, some of that trying to develop right over the Port-au-Prince area. Same thing for our friends in Lacaille there on the peninsula. Back on over to Puerto Rico and the U.S. and the British Virgin Islands. Once again, good storms today developing across the island. Watch those begin to flare up there, especially central and the western sides of the island. As a matter of fact, let's just make sure here. I don't think we had a special weather statement. We had one, so I was right. So again, just to show you that a little bit earlier this afternoon from the Uti Alto area to Aguadilla, we had special weather statement. It's basically one rung below a severe thunderstorm warning. And then we had a second one that kind of, what did it expand a little bit more? There we go. Didn't last very long there as you went south and east of Uti Alto, but obviously some very heavy showers and storms in that area. So what do you say? It might take just one brief second for me to bring it on here, but I'm interested in looking at the radar out to Puerto Rico. So let's bring that on real fast. Show you guys that. Let me take off the satellite data. This is the live radar out of Puerto Rico. And noting that big cluster of storms is beginning to weaken there, kind of in the west central side of the island. Decent showers and storms, Ponce, Coamo, on over towards Yabacoa, scattered showers and storms for Vieques and Culebra, so watch out for some heavier downpours. But again, this is going to cool things off. Not as much rain so far for St. Thomas, St. John, and over towards Jost Van Dyke, Tortola, in the Rotan area, but a couple of spotty showers are possible there. Same thing for our friends in St. Croix and Anegada as well there, the far northeast side of the British Virgin Islands. But again, we've had some rain work its way across the area so far today. Okay, let's get back over to the sat data here. Let me just say goodbye to that. Excellent. And then we'll continue to move into the Lesser Antilles. Now, of course, guys, what you're going to see here is that yellow formation area. Again, this is a 7-day formation zone, so we're not going to worry about this yet, okay? This is the kind of tail end of this. I would put this in the kind of the days 5 to 7. We're going to have to be watching this area. Now, I want you to notice we have some tropical moisture coming in. This is not the wave that's going to develop. We talked about this one yesterday, that late tonight and on Wednesday, a fast-moving wave will bring some quick downpours and some storms, especially from St. Lucia north. And all of that is still on track. Let's check out the visible satellite imagery here. Take just a second to load on. You can see there's actually a fair amount of shear with this. This is a very classic wave. It's elongated north to south. There's nothing wrapping up circulation-wise. It's moving off towards the west at around 15 to 20 miles an hour. It's been relatively dry for today for Anguilla, St. Bart's, Barbuda, Antigua, Ceiba, St. Eustatius, Montserrat, St. Martin, Guadalupe. A couple of passing showers ahead of this, but by late tonight, we're going to have a much better chance for some rain, and some of that could be on the heavier side. And again, a couple of inches of rain, 25 to 50 millimeters. Martinique, St. Lucia, those are our best chances. Barbados could be clipped by this. You get to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Trinidad, Tobago, it's going to be more isolated. There's not as much there, but ahead of this, today, we've actually had a little bit more rain back down into the northeast sides of South America. It skirted Trinidad. Nice storms are trying to blow up at the hour right over Nueva Esparta. Again, some heavier rain and lightning there. You can always look at the live lightning count here at Meteo Mundo, and that's just over the last 15 minutes. And again, my friends in the ABC Islands, let me know if you caught a little bit of that rain late last night. If you didn't, there's not a lot more on the board, at least for the next couple of days, but eventually, again, rain chances will try and go up just a little bit. So again, this wave is not the one that is going to be potentially developing. It's the one that's all the way back here. And I promise you we're going to get into that one a lot more in just a second. So here is the tropical wave that'll be moving into the Lesser Antilles tonight and overnight and traversing off towards the west. And as it moves off towards the west, it will continue to bring better and better rain chances. This is the tropical wave that could be developing. And again, it's the first one that we've had in nearly 2 weeks to be monitoring. And the fact that we're talking about late August, that big of a break, is obviously extremely unusual. And we'll look at another robust wave moving off the West African coast that could show signs of development as well. Again, everything is on track from what I've been mentioning the last few days, where the potential for tropical development looks to be rising right at the beginning of September. So much more on this disturbed area coming up in just a minute. But first, friends, again, thank you so much for liking this video. Thank you for subscribing to Meteo Mundo if you want your daily forecasts across the Caribbean and the Bahamas, and of course, your tropical updates. Thank you for sharing with the family and friends, anyone you think might get a little bit something out of this video. And again, appreciate your support. Thank you for help to grow and keep this channel going. So the first thing we're going to look at here is going to be the forecast over the next few days, and then we're going to get into that disturbance and we're going to really break it down. But over the next 3 days, that our area is not going to be directly impacted by it. It's still going to be a few more days out. So let's bring up the NAM model here and take a look at the rain. And of course, if you're familiar with the channel, we're going to go island by island with the rainfall forecast over the next 3 days. Now, again, we're going to start off in the Lesser Antilles, and everything still looks to be about what we talked about yesterday, guys. Anguilla, Barbuda, St. Martin, Ceiba, St. Eustatius, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua, Barbuda, Guadalupe, Dominica, Martinique to St. Lucia. That's the best chance for rain tonight, overnight, and then at least through most of the day on Wednesday. Might tail off a little bit late in the day, but here comes that wave. Again, nothing organized. It'll kick up surf and sea conditions a little bit here, but again, just showing you this is at 2 a.m. tonight. And as a matter of fact, let me do something here and actually back up the model just a few more hours. I wanted to start it just a little bit earlier here so we can catch the beginning of this moving in. So now to loop up from 7 o'clock on this Tuesday evening. And just wanted to show you that the first batch of rain is probably going to enter the picture before midnight tonight for these areas. So this is just after midnight. And again, some overnight rain, some morning rain. This is 7:30. A few showers will be redeveloping behind that first batch. This is about 6 o'clock tomorrow night. And you can still see from St. Lucia north, we're going to have some pretty darn good rain chances. Some of this could be on the heavier side briefly. Some gusty winds. I'm not really concerned about flash flooding. I'll monitor that situation. But again, 1 to 2 inches of rain, 25 to 50 millimeters. And of course, a lot of you have said how hot it has been. I hear ya. This should hopefully temper the heat a little bit. Now, as we get into the morning hours tomorrow, some of this will try and work its way already into the Virgin Islands. And you can see that this is about 10 a.m. tomorrow, and there is the opportunity for the entire U.S. and British Virgin Islands to at least have some rain. I actually expect there to be a better chance for rain either later tomorrow or on Thursday, but that first batch could hit you guys in the morning, and then showers will be somewhat spotty in the afternoon. By the way, very breezy conditions will go along with this as well. Would expect east winds to at least be 15 to 20, but there'll be some higher gusts. And so there's that next batch moving in, and then it'll just traverse its way through the Greater Antilles, head into the Dominican Republic, on over towards Puerto Rico, Cuba, the Turks, the Caicos, eventually get on over towards Jamaica as well. It's gonna thin a bit by the time it gets out here, but obviously you still see a lot of green on the map, guys. We still see pretty good rain chances. Turks and Caicos, more batches of rain for the Bahamas. This is gonna be spiraling back into the Yucatan, Belize, all of Central America. Rain chances overall relatively high. For places like Jamaica and the Cayman Islands, there'll actually be a little bit of a break early, and then rain chances might improve a little bit here as we head towards, let's say, Friday. So for Jamaica itself, again, hopefully we'll get some more rain tonight. You can see this is the model tonight at 7 o'clock, and it has another slug of rain trying to come back into your area. So cross your fingers you get that, breaks apart into tomorrow morning, and then kind of redevelops a very scattered variety, but lower chance overall for your Wednesday. Then as we get into Thursday, just trying to pump up the chances a little bit more across the island, and hopefully that extends into Friday as well. I'm going to expect about the same situation for the Cayman Islands, where we'll be a little bit drier for Wednesday, and then hopefully rain chances coming up a little bit there on Thursday and Friday. For the Bahamas, still going to favor the central and the southeast Bahamas for slightly better rain chances. It'll be improved a bit when you get up towards Freeport, Lucaya there in Grand Bahama, and Nassau and New Providence, but I like my better chances here when you get down towards Exuma, the Acklins, the southeast side, and the Turks, the Caicos as well. One area I did not show you yet is going to be the Windward Islands, so I'm going to go back to the GFS model with that one, and if you know, the reason why I do that is because the NAM model's domain doesn't go that far out. Just clips here. So for the Windward Islands, and I've already mentioned it, the thickest moisture misses you guys north, okay? So the rain chances overall for St. Lucia, South, Barbados, St. Vincent, the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad, Tobago, is just more uniform in nature, right? We're not gonna have the peak that areas north are going to see tomorrow, but 40-ish% most afternoons going to be in the forecast for us here, okay? And again, no direct impacts from this potential disturbance over the next 3 days. I think the earliest approach would be about 5 days from now. But more than likely, it's even a little bit further behind than that. So let's break down your rain chance island by island, shall we? 30% chance the next couple of days in the northwest Bahamas, 40 on Friday. Again, favoring the central and the southeast Bahamas and the Turks and the Caicos for higher rain chances. Pretty darn good chance by Friday. Cuba's rain chances remain exceptional. Cayman Islands rain chances, again, pretty good tomorrow, and then will begin to fade. So if I said tomorrow might be a little bit drier, really meant Thursday and then into Friday. You might have one more day of better rain chances, and we'll see. I might be able to up that rain chance on Friday. The NAM was coming in a little bit wetter. Belize City, Healthy chances the next couple days, should dry out a bit on Friday. Same situation for Cancun and Cozumel. Jamaica's rain chances again tonight, overnight, early Wednesday, better. Should be a little bit drier Thursday, Friday, and just like the Cayman Islands, I'm going to monitor this. I might be able to bump that up just a little bit. Dominican Republic, again, a little bit drier tomorrow, ahead of the wave. Wave comes in on Thursday, better chance then, not bad on Friday. Puerto Rico's rain chance. British Virgin Islands rain chances will be higher tomorrow, but again, some of that might hit the morning, probably a little bit more concentrated late afternoon and evening, and then touch drier Thursday, Friday. Bermuda sees a relatively dry forecast. There's your healthy rain chances. Anguilla, St. Kitts and Nevis, it's an 80% chance tomorrow, and then we do kind of fall off fairly quickly on Thursday, redeveloping some scattered showers on Friday. Again, the farther north you are in the islands, the higher the rain chance is going to be on your Wednesday. Everyone just sees isolated chances on Thursday, and then we're back to better rain chances again, skewing a little bit north. So Antigua, Barbuda, Montserrat have better rain chances overall than St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines. But it's a bit more uniform overall south. Barbados, a 50% chance tomorrow, 30 on Thursday, Friday. Grenada, 50% chance tomorrow, again 30, 40. Trinidad, Tobago, still keeping with your 40 each and every day. Suriname and Guyana, right around a 50-50 shot. Nueva Esparta, decent chances late Wednesday, Thursday. ABC Islands, hopefully we catch some of this moisture late Thursday and into Friday, and then we cross our fingers for a couple of spotty showers. Once again, friends, rain chances are high and rain totals are pretty darn good. Over the next 7 days, again, a lot of orange and red on this map. That's 2 to 4 inches of rain. That's 50 to 100 millimeters. There will be some spots that get more than that. There will be some spots that get a lot of that in just a couple of days. So I'll monitor that isolated flash flooding, but make sure you also keep up with your local officials for that as well. As far as the winds and the waves go, we're going to continue with our easterlies here, obviously. And again, southwest side of the Caribbean could kick up some rougher seas as that wave comes in tomorrow for the Lesser Antilles, especially up to the Leeward Islands. It's going to be a fresh wind, again, especially on the Atlantic-facing side, so small craft might want to find some sheltered areas or at least, just stay out of that persistent easterly wind, which will easily be 15 to 20 knots in a couple of spots. As a matter of fact, I think that's a great thing to look at here real quick. Let me bring up the wind gusts. Great idea, Rusty. Thanks. So let's loop this up. Might take just 1 second because I didn't loop this up pre. I'm just going to drop that yellow area here, and then we'll get back into it. So just as kind of a heads up, these are your wind gusts, and greens are a little bit stronger. They're going to be over 20 knots, okay? And I just wanted to note that as this wave comes in tomorrow, right, there's a little bit of green moving into the Leeward Islands. And that's going to be, again, 20 plus here and there. And then we know how exceptionally breezy it can be in the ABC Islands as well. And some of that breeze will be over Puerto Rico and Hispaniola and the Turks, the Caicos. All easterlies, but some of that will be on the stronger side with that next tropical wave. Okay. Now, we deep dive into this wave itself. Again, 20% chance of development. This area is the official forecast from the National Hurricane Center. I want you to notice there's not even kind of an arrow yet, but it's back here that we're watching for. So over the next 7 days, starting at this point and maybe as far down the road as the Leeward Islands, development is possible with this system. It's looking a little bit better today. Nothing crazy organized right now. This is the visible satellite imagery. Again, we lose it here towards the end of the day, but I'm going to pause it right about there. I'm going to hopefully pause it right about there. It's not pausing for some reason. Okay, whatever. You just do your thing, man. You just do your thing. I have no idea why this is not pausing. Anyway, there's a little bit of good outflow. There's some better thunderstorm activity, but it's going to take some time. Nothing imminent is going to develop out of this, okay? So we have plenty of time to monitor. And again, this yellow area is the potential development area. It doesn't mean that it's going to stay within this cone, but that's probably the best chance. I do want to also highlight, once again, there is an extremely robust tropical wave coming off the West African coast. What's the biggest difference, friends, with this wave compared to the ones of the last 2 weeks? Its location, okay? Instead of moving off the West African coast this far north, where it's encountering those lower 70-degree Fahrenheit sea surface temperatures, this next wave is much farther south and sea surface temperatures are well above 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which could support this next wave getting stronger quicker. That's why one of the reasons it looks like we're going to have more potential development over the next several weeks, which we should. It is that time of the year. So let's break down the European model. This is the entire Atlantic basin, okay? Once again, same time frame the last several videos. We're going to start off at the end of August. We're going to get to the first week of September, and then we're going to zoom into these areas. This is the wave with the development potential, and we can watch that trying to kind of spin up east of the Lesser Antilles early next week. Again, this is the ensemble products, so this is basically all of the different plots of where the European model think that could move. A lot of them do have this developing, okay? Once again, somewhat of a northwest track, but certainly this could have some impacts for portions of our area early next week. This is a close-up of the exact same model, just kind of more of a close-up Caribbean view. And I've really slowed down the model time frame as far as the looping goes. So once again, this is moving into Saturday, still no development. Sunday still looks pretty good on the first. As we get into Monday, here comes the first ensembles bringing this through portions of the Lesser Antilles, the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, maybe Dominican Republic, Haiti, maybe Turks and Caicos, maybe Bahamas. A lot of maybes. Still a lot of question marks, but obviously the signal is there for the potential for development out of that system. Also a couple of little signals with the European model in the northwest side of the Gulf of Mexico, much weaker, but something to monitor as well. And again, you can see that slow stair step of the European model developing that system. As far as intensity track, obviously it's way too early, but the signal is there for the first time for potential actual development in a while. The GFS model, okay, same time frame, same locations. Again, as we get into Monday, Tuesday, the first signs that the ensembles of the GFS try and bring in a system. It's a little bit slower than the European model in general, but we start to see some of those. Now it's interesting, the GFS and a couple are a little bit farther off towards the south, and I've got this at a really slow loop, by the way. And so we see this one moving north and west, and eventually this one does as well, but there's kind of one outlier very far off towards the west, but the cluster is much more, again, into the Lesser Antilles and a couple days behind the European model. European model can be very fast with this compared to the GFS as far as the evolution of this. And even the GFS has some weak signals into the western Gulf of Mexico as well. So, friends, if we get a next name storm again, we're going to be on our 6th. That's Francine. We'll see how that plays out, but that is the next storm on the list. Here's what we should do as of now for this disturbance. Here's what you need to know. That tropical wave could begin to organize in the next few days. If you have interest or you live in the Lesser Antilles, the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico, you should just be monitoring this. There's no reason to do anything more than that at this point in time, but those are the areas I think that could first be potentially impacted as this disturbance moves in. And again, right now, that time frame would be at the very earliest late this weekend, but more than likely sometime early in the week. Again, the Hurricane Center only has a 20% chance at this point in time, but I also believe this is the first in many waves coming off the West African coast that are going to start to have development potentials. Again, we had a break that we didn't expect the last 2 weeks. I think we're starting to get back into a more active pattern, and this is the first wave. Friends, you know I appreciate you. You can follow us across all social media, Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook. You want to send me a picture or video, it's myMediaMundo@gmail.com. If you have a specific question about the forecast, drop that in the comments section below. Appreciate you guys on the way out liking this video and subscribing. You have a great rest of your Tuesday. I'll be back with all the newest information for you tomorrow, right here with this wave and Meteo Mundo. Have a great one, friends.